Hi everyone, welcome to this week's CIPA UX research planning session. I think Nadia S may be joining later. She has an item on the agenda, but we'll get started. So our usual two questions, what research issues are in progress, and then also what are the upcoming problem validation. Nadia had one about problem validations listed under UX research, so I moved it down there. So for the one agenda item 2 for the UX research in progress, we just kicked off, me and Vitika talking about it yesterday, the research, I'm calling it UX research on the key metrics for analyzing pipelines, but it's really also going to be first synthesizing what research has already been done on pipeline metrics. I think there's even a link to a customer interview as well on what pipeline metrics are valuable to them. I had a question for Lori on that. I found in a Slack thread that when Nadia reached out September 23rd to Jackie about what the release team has done so that we can leverage those findings, Jackie had shared a link to a customer interview in Dovetail. I was going to add it to the description of my research issue, but I know our research issues eventually become change from confidential to no longer confidential. In that case, should I not link to the Dovetail recording of that customer call? Or
no, you can. The dovetail access is just for people at GitLab. So even if somebody clicks it, they're not going to be able to see it unless they have a seat. And we're only giving people who work at the company seats. So you should be okay. And you can just say like internal link only in when you put it in there too.
Okay. All right. So, so Vitika, I'll add that to the description of our UX research. And Lori, so that's good to know. Customers, even they click on a link, they can't get access, but I think I'll just call it customer call instead of naming the customer, right? Because we don't even want their name.
Yeah, never put their name. Like you could put like P2, U2, whatever, but like never put their name and never put their company either.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just put link to customer call about metrics. Okay. Thanks, Lori, for that.
Perfect.
I think if after we had a chance to kind of digest all of the research that's been done to date, take into account those suggestions, if Vitika and I realized that we do want to do a little bit of live interview with customers, we'll do it out of that same issue as well. If there's something that comes up and I don't know, we're trying to decide between 10 metrics and narrow it down to 5. And we couldn't find a specific findings about which of those 10 were even most valuable. We'll do some recruiting and interviewing. I'm super excited about the work that's already been done. I know it wasn't related specifically, but it's pretty relevant. So that's what's in progress. I saw there are some discussions with Kenny and the 2 other PMs in Verify in Slack, and I redirected them to add their comments to this issue so that we can keep it long-term, knowing that Slack conversations are, I think, 90-day temporary until they're wiped.
Yeah, 90 days.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then I saw Jackie's contributing. Go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Tal, one thing you might want to think about since this particular research will be possibly another project as well is promoting this one to an Epic and then creating a new issue to cover your, I would call it maybe a literature review, past research review, and then another issue in case you decide to actually have the need to do some research. So that's just a housekeeping idea that you might want to do.
Okay, let me make sure I understand that. So if you're saying if we promote this to an Epic, the research review would be an issue under it, and then any additional live research with. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
We Yeah, we did that with the CI adoption journey because we had like 4 or 5 different projects. So we made that an epic, and then we had issues underneath it. It worked out really well for Andre and I, but you know, you don't have to.
No, that makes sense. I'll probably go do that right now. Thanks, Lori. Let's see. I think if it's the promote. It says that I'm trying to shortcut. It says if I promote confidential issue to a non-confidential epic. Just
I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's okay because then your actual research issue will be confidential.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you might need to scrub it once you promote it. You might need to scrub some of the information and copy paste it into your new issue. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Sounds good. So I guess we can't have confidential. Maybe once it promotes it, it automatically makes it unconfidential. But I think we could still make epics confidential. I'll play with it. I'll play with it. And if I can't make it confidential, I'll go through and scrub it. And Kenny's already adding stuff to it. All right. Thanks for that suggestion, Lori. I'll go back and do that. Next, any other discussion we want to have on that one? Thanks everyone for contributing. I'll reach out to Jackie and thank her as well. She's been contributing on that. Okay. So next agenda item is under upcoming, what are the upcoming problem validation? I know Nadia has one there. She's not on the call at the moment.
Yeah, it's our research. It's a research that we started together. So actually started it, and me and Nadia are working on it. Yeah, so basically we want to start to try to understand the current authoring experience for our users, for our existing users. We said at the beginning, let's talk to our existing user first to understand like what's their experience. But then again, Emily asked me again if we would like to interview. Actually, she revalidate that we only want to interview GitLab users, and then I thought maybe we should like use the same problem validation and extend it and interview also like non-GitLab users, maybe just slightly modify it a bit with some of the questions, and then see if the like where are the gaps. But originally we started with this research targeting only GitLab users. So like a question for you, for all of you, I guess, and Laurie specifically, what do you think about like extending research and go beyond our existing users and talk to external users? I know like it makes sense, but for this context of this research, does it make sense?
So Dove, I know you shared the issue with me, and I apologize, I haven't got a chance to read through it yet, but it sounds, so just so I know, I heard you, right? It's not your fault, make sure I was listening. You and Nadia want to talk to internal GitLab?
Not internal, not internal GitLab users.
Just users, okay.
GitLab's users, but
okay.
that are using GitLab for pipeline, for writing their pipeline. Maybe I should like clarify this in the recruiting issue again.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that that was the thing. So that makes perfect sense. I do wonder, so as you know, as you guys know, Andre and I are trying to talk to people who don't use GitLab, but do CI pipelines, and Jenkins, Circle CI, and GitHub, and Travis, and getting their take on the authoring process. I wonder if you could use any of this. Like, I want to make sure that what we're asking them is very similar to what you and Nadia want to learn from current users, because we should solicit very similar feedback from the questions from people, because the goal, I would assume, is still the same. How is it working for them? You're talking to people who are doing it. and have some experience with it. We're talking to people who have not yet used our tool to do it, but the questions should be very, very similar. So I'd like to, I will look at that issue after this meeting this morning, but I'd like to collaborate on that research in those respects, because I think it's very, very similar. In fact, like you could also argue that we could be talking to those people for our research, but we just don't have enough time to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one of the things, one of the things you might want to take into consideration, Dove, is the level of experience the people you talk to that you want them to have with GitLab and with CI pipelines in particular. Thinking, how many pipelines do you need them to have created or modified? How recently do you need them to do that? I found that a lot of people I talk to don't go in there and fiddle with the pipelines that much. They're set up at some point in the past, and they just run until something breaks, and then somebody has to go in there and change it. But they don't tend to change their code enough to change pipelines frequently. So that might be a question that you want to ask, and think about the type of person you want to talk to. I would assume that you'd want to talk to somebody who does it on a frequent enough basis that it can actually give you some feedback on it, and not say, well, a year ago I did it this way. So
Makes sense. We need to add it to the screener doc. No questions. Makes perfect sense. Another question that I've debated, like I think I have like the answer, but I just want to throw it out. So like the type of organization, what type of organization are we aiming for? It's like small business or enterprise. I immediately thought enterprise because, like, you know, we are the categories in the lovable maturity category. So, and one of our competitors is GitHub Actions and GitHub. So they are also aiming for enterprise. So I assume that our target audience is enterprise. Just want to validate that.
Okay. I don't know if this would validate that for you. If you're asking them to give you feedback on using.
No, I'm asking all of you, like, who are the target audience? Like, should it be like small, medium enterprise, small, medium organization, or large enterprise? And of course, we'll add the validate, like we'll add the screener questions when needed.
It depends. I think if you're going after like enterprise size customers, most of them are not using GitLab SaaS. They're using self-hosted, self-managed. So were you going to limit your research to users of our GitLab.com?
No.
Okay. In which case, I don't know. I think it might be good to get a variety from each area. Because I think their problems are going to be different. I know problems, the really complex pipelines tend to be with very large customers that are also trying to make it easier for more teams within the organization to edit and author pipelines, which is very different from your much smaller companies or users.
Yeah, that's for sure, and I'm pretty sure we'll get like different response from different enterprise. Like the question is like, normally when you do research, do you aim for the large enterprise or the small, medium?
I usually like to, go ahead, Laura.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I would agree with Tal. I think you might need to talk to both. Their practices are so widely different. In enterprise, you tend to have more specific jobs. Like you can be much more specialized in large enterprises, where in the small to medium business, you might have one or two people doing everything. And so they have a different set of goals, challenges versus the enterprise level as well. So like, you know, enterprise, you tend to have a lot more DevOps teams, right? Because they have the ability and the money and the budget to have DevOps. So DevOps is setting up pipelines for somebody else. They're not even using the pipelines that they create. But small, medium business, they may be DevOps, but they're also probably coding the code too. So they're setting up their own pipelines and using it. So the question is, do you need to talk to people who create pipelines on behalf of others? And do you also need to talk to people who create pipelines for their own immediate use instead of creating it on behalf of other people? I would say you'd want to talk to both, because both bring unique challenges to the situation. And as a product that is trying to be everything to everybody, we'd want to make sure that we get both of those perspectives.
Well, I'm looking through your screener. Is your question so that you can edit a certain screener question to get a specific customer size?
Yeah, like what's the company size or the team size that can be like, because like there are cases where you have like a large enterprise, but their team is operating like small. Like if it's like a very small team, usually they operate as like a mini startup. If it's a large team, then normally they would work as a large enterprise. And I agree. I mean, ideally we want to talk to both, and obviously we'll get like different answers and different points of perspective from both types of customers. And the only concern that I have is that I'll have so many unknowns or so many things that I can work on, because of the variety of the answers that I'll get. It will be hard for me to understand like what is a problem that we need to tackle and what's it. But maybe it's because of the way I structured this research, because I see that from this research there will be like plenty of other problem validations that we will do, because a lot of those questions are very general questions, and we did it in purpose, me and Nadia, because we are also doing our first steps in this world. So we want to understand like the overall picture and then dive into specific area point. So I definitely see this as like multiplying into like many other research or other validations that we need to do. So yeah, I'll probably talk to both, as you suggested.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dov, you know, to that point, maybe talk to 5 people from larger companies, or really, you're really talking about teams. Like it's a large team that they're working on. It's not necessarily a large company, because like you say, you could be on a very small agile team within a large enterprise. So I would say split it like 5 from a larger team and then 5 from a smaller team, whether that smaller team is a team that's within a large enterprise business or a small and medium business team. And then that way, like you say, you're going to do more research off of this anyway later. That should give you a good sense of, am I hearing consistent things from these 2 groups? And if you're not, let's chat, because it might mean you need to pull in like 2 or 3 more people for each group, just so you can get some consistent answers. But I think 5 and 5 would be a good start.
Hey, Dove, I'm looking at the draft screener as well, linked to from your research issue. One question I don't see that you might want to add is, are they involved in authoring a CI pipeline from scratch, or have edited an existing CI pipeline? Because I think even in, let's say, that may be more specific to trying to find out how they interact with pipeline, as opposed to just assuming that if they're at a large company, you know, and they're a software developer but not a DevOps engineer, that they don't write them from scratch. I think it might just specifically ask them, how have you interacted with pipelines? And then, option A, I've offered them from scratch in GitLab. Option B, which is I've edited a little, but and then option C could be both or something. Oh wait, are these checkboxes where they can select multiple choice options?
You can select select
okay.
multiple.
Yeah, because you want to pinpoint actually exactly how they interact with the pipeline.
Yeah, or do you think this is something that needs to be as a part of the scanner and not a part of the actual research? Because I have like similar questions in the research issue.
I think part of the screener, because you're going to talk to two different groups of users, ones that author from scratch, which is very important to you for your research, and ones that just interact minimally with when they have to edit something. Then from the screener, you can group those interviews together, closer together, so that it's easier to keep in mind. These are the 5 that truly author things from scratch, and then the next 5, for example. I'm not necessarily dictating the number, but the next group would be, these are the ones that minimally interact with it, but they have their own different problems of, hey, whoever originally authored it, now this is the problem of how I can edit, or not. But if you add that as a screener question, then you would know what type of use that is. How do you interact with pipelines?
Yeah, you'll want to know that, because if they just consume it and they don't author it, they're not going to be a good person for your study.
Exactly. And I had that problem, right, Lori, when I was trying to do research on ML pipelines. I didn't have a specific question like that. And so some of them had kind of general knowledge about it, but they weren't truly the users who were hands-on with creating the pipelines for machine learning and AI projects. So I realized that was a big miss from the start in my screener.
Sounds good.
And maybe after you've interviewed all the folks that author pipelines from scratch, that there's so much detail there, you want to defer as a separate research the users that only edit minimally the pipeline and not actually do the primary authoring.
Makes sense.
While Dove is taking notes there, let me see what else is on our agenda. Anything else you want to discuss on that, Dove? I don't want to move on too quickly.
No, I think I mentioned all of you in the research. I did not mention you, so I can add you to that, so you can just.
Okay, I saw Nadia linked to that issue, so I can get to it from that link in the agenda. In agenda item 3B, I had a question, and generally for what all of you think, and I think Lori will probably have some guidance on this. I was going to separately do a problem validation for, and not dashboard, I mistyped pipeline. Oops, it won't let me, pipeline metrics. And I'm like, would it be at this point redundant for me to do an additional problem validation, or just synthesize the problem validation that's already been done in the past? There's a couple different things that both James did from the testing team and the release team did.
I think, Tal, you've answered your question. I think let's look at what they've done first.
Yeah.
So then if there are any other questions still outstanding. And there may be, because they all kind of do it through their own lenses. But it's always a good first step to look at what people have done before, so you don't have to repeat work, and then you can start from ahead. So I would say do that first.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I was looking at the discussion guide for release teams research, and it feels like most of their questions, they're focused around the tasks that the release managers or people of Yeah, that position
Okay.
would perform.
Okay. In which case, and I was pretty sure they were focused on more release stuff. In which case, I'll just start a draft problem validation, an opportunity canvas, Vitika, and we can throw in their assumptions from their finding, and then
Yeah.
we would tailor it for our jobs to be done for CI.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and so, yeah, good. Because the reason I asked, when I looked at the other research issues other teams had, they linked to an opportunity canvas, but that is tied to problem validation. So I'll just get one started. If in the end we decide we don't need it, we can just close our opportunity canvas. Okay.
That's a good idea.
I'll make a note
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. Vitika, you have the next agenda item if you want to talk through that.
Yeah, so this is an activity that I'm trying to initiate, and I thought everybody should be aware of this. So this is nothing on a very large scale, but something internal only, kind of a async design click, very similar to what the source code team had done very recently for the merge MR widget for like the MR widget sections that touch upon different teams. So they brought together all the UX designers, all the product managers, and they got to drop their comments like what they think could be improved on those and how there's kind of an inconsistency and how we can fill that gap and all of that. So nothing concrete has started on that front, but something has just been initiated, and that is all for now.
Awesome. Any other questions on that? I think we're 2 minutes over time. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will load the recording of this to our playlist. Bye, folks.
Bye, guys.